Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and mental gen. Welcome to another reaction video. So today, I am going to be reacting to the American actor, comedian, dancer, singer, amazing all-round performer, Chris Tucker. I have been a Chris Tucker fan since childhood. I remember we used to sneak to my neighbor's house to watch the Rush Hour movies, and it was mainly because of Chris Tucker. And it was mainly because of Chris Tucker. They had this collection of Jackie Chan movies, all of Jackie Chan's movies, and we'd go there, sit for long hours, sometimes a huge majority of the day, just watching the Jackie Chan collection. But our favorite, collectively everybody's favorite, was Rush Hour, and it was because of Chris Tucker, his antics, his voice, and that chemistry with him and Jackie Chan. Was just too entertaining for us to handle. We had to sneak in and watch. Why I do wonder, why is Chris Tucker not a major Hollywood comedian? Like, why is he not at the level of Kevin Hart, the Chris Rocks? Why is he not up there? I would say he is just as funny as any of them. And personally, I would say he's slightly more funny than Kevin Hart. Chris Tucker's comedy is a part of him. It's very unique. It's got its own character. Anything he says or does could be funny. And I just wonder, did he do something wrong? Because I know that atmosphere in Hollywood is very slippery. One mistake and you're gone. So I just wonder, if anybody knows, please let me know. Why is Chris Tucker not among the great comedians of our time? Why is he not up there in movies, in comedy specials? I can't even remember a last comedy special I saw from Chris Tucker. I cannot remember the last major movie I saw Chris Tucker in, maybe playing a lead role that I can truly remember. So I wonder, what has happened to his career? Anyways, by the way, let us get into these reaction videos. Like with all reaction videos, I will be judging this as the resident African in the building based on how authentic or how true it is. So I will decide after watching, of course, whether or not the comedy actually reflects Africa, or is he just being funny. So I'll try to judge which percentage of it is true and which percentage of it is just comedy. It's just fun. So let's see what he says about Africa. I expect a lot. I have high expectations. It's Chris Tucker. Let's get into this.
My son in Africa, though. I want to take him to Africa. Any of y'all ever been to Africa? Go to Africa, especially if you're black. Go see your ancestors. I went to Africa. They took me out there. I went out there for a genealogy thing. I went out there to see my ancestors. They took me out there. I did this thing, and they took me out there. They took me way out in this village, on this dirt road, all the way out to this village. And they took me and they showed me and said, "These are your people." I said, "Don't none of these people look like me." Tricked my ass, got me all the way out here in the desert. I was about to leave to one of them remind me of my Uncle John. Like African Uncle John, he's like, "Oh my God, it's so good you are here, Chris."
Oh, why is that so nice?
I am so glad you are here, man. You don't know how much we pray for this day, man. I don't know how the hell we're gonna pay for this TV.
Now that's an African uncle right there.
You gonna pay for it neither, man.
He's asking for money.
African Uncle John, I already got an African Uncle John. Now I brought y'all some Coca-Colas and some shoes, right? Give y'all nothing else. Where's my Jeep? Get me the hell out of this village. Get me out of here. When you're a celebrity and you go to Africa, they do special stuff for you. Like they have people meet you at the airport. Like they had a big band meet at the airport for me. They had drums, they had signs and stuff. But I was tired because it's a long way to Africa. So I got there, I thought I was gonna get some sleep before everything happened. As soon as I got off the plane, I said, I'm gonna go get some sleep. And they was like, there he is! Chris Tucker! Chris Tucker! Chris Tucker! Chris Tucker! I was like, what the hell is going on? This is great, man, but I am tired, man. Can we do this a little later? No, please, that's disrespectful. Please dance. Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker. shit is disrespectful, man. I'm tired, man. I have a 16-hour flight, man. Come on, man.
It's long.
Can we do this later, man? Take me to the hotel. No, we are walking to the village. Please follow me. What? Itinerary say to Radisson, man. I don't know damn village. Please, Mr. Tucker, just follow us. It's not far. It's only 200 kilometers. Please stop. Please stop. 200 kilometers? I don't know how far it is, but that sounds far as hell, man. What a Jesus! It's not far, Mr. Tucker. Don't worry. If you get tired, get on my back, Chris Tucker.
Like, come on. Nobody's carrying you.
Shit, I'm tired now. I got Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker. Get my luggage, Chris Tucker. Thank you.
That's great. That's good comedy.
Stuff happened in Africa, though, you don't see nowhere else on earth. I saw a cheetah walk through the hotel lobby. And I was the only one scared. The Africans weren't even scared. I was like, God damn, there's a cheetah in here!
That's a lie.
My security guard was behind me. I said, get in front of me.
You die first.
Supposed to be protecting me. Anybody gonna get bit, it's gonna be your ass. I was scared. The Africans weren't even scared. They over there rubbing there. Oh, look at the cheetah. Look at this cheetah. What are you doing in this hotel? What are you doing? You don't belong in here. Petting and rubbing. What are you doing here? You must go outside. He opened up his mouth. Look at this teeth. Look at this teeth.
No, you
Look
didn't.
at the designs in his mouth. He'd kill a man one bite. He'd kill a man one bite. All of a sudden, he slapped the cheetah on the ass to get him out. Get out of here. I went crazy. What the hell is wrong with him? The cheetah went crazy. He's like,
Oh my God.
I ran out of the hotel so fast, I was like, oh shit, that cheetah gonna kill him. And the cheetah was so fast, it ran by me. I was like, oh shit, get out of here. Get my ass back in the hotel.
Just running back to the hotel.
The hell y'all got the doors open before you know cheetahs coming in here and shit. It only happened once a year. That's enough shit. Scared the hell out of me.
Ah, why is it so wholesome? Why is it wholesome? It's just good comedy. Like, so I took some notes, some very short notes here. Yeah, not really notes, just some things I noted down. Well, I guess they're notes then. Ancestors. I went to Africa to see my ancestors. Your ancestors are not in Africa, okay? At least not anymore. Your ancestors are gone. They might have once been in Africa, but they're not in Africa anymore. You might go there to see your, you know, to learn more about your origin, your lineage. But as far as seeing your ancestors is concerned, it's not possible. However, I think if you trace very carefully, you will find that you still have some relatives, at least distant relatives in Africa. And you guys might be separated by worlds, by oceans, by hundreds and hundreds of years of cultural differences. But I think as far as physical appearance goes, and still some black tendencies you would find in common. But as far as looking for ancestors is concerned, I don't think the objective in coming to Africa should be looking for ancestors. You might trace your roots to go back. We don't even have our ancestors in Africa. They're dead. Nobody, their ancestors, they're gone. But it's a comedy bit and it's very funny. I'm curious though about the issue of resemblance. Like he said, he met somebody who looked like his Uncle John. I'm curious about how much of our physical resemblance is left. And I say this because I'm not quite sure that if you were to put me in the room, or if you were to put a mixture, conduct an experiment, you get a collection or a group of African Americans and Africans, and you put them in a room, and you put all of them in a room, and the law is that none of them is supposed to speak, because from speaking would know who has which accent, but you just dress them alike and put them in a room. I wonder if it would be possible to differentiate which one of them is African and which one is African American. I'm just saying, like, just to see how far physical appearance has, just to see if there are differences in physical appearance between the two. Interesting. But I also find the fact that he says that he went to Africa to see his ancestors very interesting, because I know there's a school of thought among African Americans which believes that African Americans, not all of them at least, were abducted from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade. They think that Africans were, some Africans used to live in the Americas before the coming of the Black Americans, or even before the coming of Christopher Columbus, which I find quite interesting. I wonder if there's any evidence to prove that, because I know that there is evidence, of course, to prove the transatlantic slave trade. I've seen the shows where there's this elderly, respectable looking African American, I think it's a journalist or it's a biologist or something, and he goes around explaining the origins, or tracing back the family lineages of some American celebrities back to the transatlantic slave trade and when their great-grandparents arrived at the Americas. So I know that that is documented, and there is evidence for that, but I wonder if there's evidence to prove that there were Black people in America, where it wasn't America at the time, but in what we now know to be America, before the coming of the whites and Christopher Columbus and everything that happened. I just wonder. I just think talking about Africans and our shared ancestry just made me think about that. It would be interesting, and then also the fact that Africans receive every celebrity with this over-the-top enthusiasm. It does annoy me, and sometimes it embarrasses me, because I think that it is all well and good to receive somebody well, who is worthy of being received well. But when I see these grand exhibitions and drum rolls and songs being made up and sung for people like Emmanuel Macron and some of these politicians who do not wish Africa and Africans well, it does just infuriate me to some extent. But anyway, I do understand. I understand the culture of being hospitable to everybody, but it doesn't change the fact that I get infuriated. But if all such parties, welcoming parties, were to be held for people like Chris Tucker, I would have no problems with it. This has been very interesting. I just love the comedy. It's so wholesome. It's so beautiful. Again, I wonder why he's not made it. Well, he did make it, but I wonder why he's not had a long and sustained career in Hollywood, because with content like this and good observations and the stuff about the cheetah in the hotel, please, it is false. It is not true. It's obviously a joke. I mean, everyone should understand it to be a joke, but I do understand as well that there are people who think of Africa as a very far away and exotic land where the impossible happens, especially when we talk about animals. But it is a joke. We Africans see animals, we run away. Do not expect, if ever an animal escapes from a zoo, do not expect the African beside you to help you capture it with some animal sign language or whatever you might be thinking. The guy would be running faster than you. So, and we can run. So it's just a joke. There's no truth to it. Our hotels are pretty safe. No, it's a joke. I think he made it clear that it was a joke though. No Africans play with cheetahs. At least not the ones I have seen. And that is just a community beat. But I thoroughly, fully enjoyed this. Some parts of it might have been true, but the cheetah part, some part of it might be true. I cannot say for sure, because there's a possibility of them being true. But the cheetah part, I want to emphasize, was a joke. Obviously a joke. Obviously a joke. Even if a cheetah were to break out, I don't think we would be so calm in the presence of our guests, even if we were familiar with the situation, which we are not. Even if it was a regular occurrence in Africa for cheetahs to break out of captivity or to break into the cities, even if we were used to that kind of thing happening, in the presence of our guest, we would make more efforts to constrain it. Just tap it on the shoulder and check its teeth as if we are No, it doesn't happen. Don't worry, this is just a joke. But it's been delightful to watch. It's been very entertaining. He's a one-man act, like I said before, and I totally enjoyed this piece of comedy. Please don't forget to like the video, to subscribe, and hang around for the next video. It's going to be coming very soon. Thank you very much for watching.